And you just make sure it's in the right spot and we'll get going.
Oh, see, nice hand.
I love it. Everybody's already making sure that they're shaking hands properly. And you know, the thing about shaking hands, and not to get off on a tangent about that, but we want to make a great first impression, right? Anytime we talk to people, for some reason, I don't know why women have never been taught to shake hands. And for whatever reason, little boys come in the room and everybody's like, high five, high five. And I saw Andy Andrews. Do you guys know who Andy Andrews is? Andy Andrews is an awesome, he plays such a good podunk hillbilly guy, but he is brilliant. And he talks about when his children, his little boys were little, that his friends would come in, they say, hey, give me a high five. And he pulled his friends to the side and he said, listen, when my little boys are in a boardroom in 20 years, nobody's high-fiving. When you see my children, I would really appreciate it if you would say, nice to meet you, good to see you, right? And shake hands with them. And he said his boys shake hands better than any man that he's ever known because he corrected that in the very beginning. So think about that. Just another little tidbit of information. When your children or your grandchildren or your friends' children are around, instead of, hey, high five, how about you be the one to teach them a good handshake?
You know, it's funny because my son shakes hands, and I didn't teach him, but his friends all hug.
And that's something that when we...
So that's interesting.
Hugging is a great thing too, and that, we could get off on a tangent about this whole thing, but when we do this thing with the Girls Inc. place, one of the things we want to talk about is shaking hands, because those girls are not being taught how to shake hands. They are learning it by default, if at all, and this is the default that they're learning. And this is the impression that they're making. Right?
I've done a lot of hiring.
It's so nice to meet you. It's so nice to meet you. It's so nice to meet you. So let's stop doing that.
Lost of credibility right away.
All right, so let's talk about networking. Let's talk about who we're being when we go out networking. It's funny, I was just noticing on my phone, I got an email from 603 Networking, something blah, 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 and it's giving pointers on networking. I want to talk to us in the beginning a little bit about our mindset when we're out networking. Because I wish I had counted them. I'm going to call this networking event 1001 that I've been to. And I've met tens of thousands of people, and I have shaken hands and exchanged business cards, and I am here to tell you that if I'm not the one that follows up, following up doesn't get done. The 1 out of 1,000 that calls me first is shocking. Shocking, because it just doesn't happen. So with all of that networking, what I have noticed, I feel like I've been doing case study after case study after case study. And that's really what I've been doing. And I found that there's 3 different kinds of mentalities when we're out networking. And the first one, and notice that I've got cards, I don't have a PowerPoint, because when we're networking, we need to be looking people in the eye. We need to be using our body, and that's why a couple of weeks ago I did a presentation. I said, we got to use our body language. We gotta use our body language. But you know what? That's engaging. When we break the ice like that and have somebody laugh, isn't that much more engaging than being staunch and too uptight? So we want to have a good handshake, but we want to be able to break the ice too. So, different ways of being when we go out. Fear and scarcity. Fear and scarcity is where I would say at least 80% of people are. Fear and scarcity is when we're at a networking event and we're either hiding in the corner and people are laughing because that's what they do, or they see it, or they've done it. And I've been in all of these places. You know, hey, listen, we don't come out the chute shaking hands and looking to network, right? Some people are extroverted, and Lindy is probably one of the few people I know that actually loves to network and loves to be around people. Or maybe she's a good faker like I am, because I really don't. Like I'm not extroverted, and I'm not really a people person, but I know how to turn it on, right? So when we go out networking, let's be there. Let's be present. Let's have a goal. Let's meet 2 or 3 people. Let's not grab 30 cards off the table of people that we're never, ever, ever going to follow up with. So when we are in fear and scarcity, we're either sitting in the corner not talking to people, or we come with our best friend and we hang out with her all night. Right? Fear and scarcity is also when we're in survival mode. When we consider being in survival mode, fear and scarcity, survival mode, I got a mortgage to pay. I got to get a contract signed. I got to get somebody to join my network marketing business. I got to prove to my husband that this works. And then we see them sharking. Sharking. Have you seen the people sharking through the room?
I have.
And when you're talking to them, and the whole time you're talking to them, they're like, tell me more. Yep, that's really interesting. What else is going on? And they're looking around the room looking for the next best thing. There are people that are like that. And so here's the thing. Let's just be cognizant. Does everybody know what your reticular activator is? Reticular activator. Does anybody have babies? No? No babies? Have you ever bought a car? What kind of car do you drive, Richie?
Honda Accord.
Have you noticed how many Honda Accords there are since you bought your Honda Accord?
Very popular.
Isn't that interesting? Do you think that everybody went out and bought their Honda Accord the same day that you did? Or do you think they were always there and you just never noticed them? When I was pregnant, God forbid, everybody was pregnant. Pregnant women everywhere. Baby stores everywhere. Everybody's talking about babies and breastfeeding and what the reticular activator. Now it's in my awareness. And people were always pregnant. There was always baby stores and there were always bassinets everywhere. It didn't happen the day I conceived, right? So our reticular activator helps us to start noticing things. So when we're going to a networking event, notice. It's okay to take a step back and just be in the room and be aware of your surroundings and take it in and then step into who you're being. So when I go to a networking event, I'm in the car. I know I'm going to a networking event. Guys, I don't love it. Like, I wasn't born to network, but I've gotten damn good at it because I've been forced to years and years and thousands of events and being a businesswoman. The only way to grow your net worth is to grow your network, period. You can only do so much by yourself. You know, going through life thinking, well, if it's going to be done right, it's going to be done by me, or I'll bring all my business. The more people that we know, the more we grow our net worth. So let's just know how we're networking. So if we go out and we're in fear and scarcity and we're in survival mode, got to get that contract signed, I got to sell something today, who's my lead? I need some leads. Guys, let's stop looking for leads and let's start leaving our seeds.
Okay.
Feel free to write that one down.
I was going to say, I like that.
Yeah.
So let's stop looking for leads and leave our seeds. What does that mean?
Please water them.
Well, let's talk about
Then water.
let's talk about seeds for a minute.
Yeah, that's good.
So
You actually brought this up when you said you engage your audience. Then they say, what do you do for work? And you say, let's talk about that, but here's my card for right now. Is that what you're...
well, and we're going to talk about that in a minute too, because the 30-second elevator pitch is dead. Let's say amen and goodbye and put it in the ground. And we're going to talk about the 30-second elevator pitch in just a minute. But right now, let's stick to seeds for just a second, because there are some seeds like a sweet pea. You plant the seed in the spring, and within a couple of months, you've got a plant. You've got sweet peas that you can eat, right? Sprouts very fast. You got other seeds that you plant like a pumpkin, and you plant it, and it takes 5, 6, 7 months before the pumpkin is there. But now it nourishes you longer. It nourishes you through the wintertime, right? And then there's some seeds that lay dormant, like bamboo, or a seed like an oak tree, that it might take years for it to grow, but now when you climb that tree, you see further and farther than any other seed you planted, right? So when we're out networking and we're planting seeds as opposed to leaving with leads, some of those seeds, ladies, are going to do business with you right now. They're a sweet pea. They're ready to go.
Do you think men, no offense to anybody here, so.
No
I
penises in the room.
I wouldn't want to hear this either. Yeah. So, do you think men have been doing it this way for hundreds of years when we're just figuring it out?
Doing what way?
Planting seeds.
No. No, I don't think they have at all. I think they're mostly, I think they've been sharking.
What's like a good old boy network?
I think that men have been, some men, certain men have been trained from childhood how to do this because they live in that kind of culture. It's not something like handshaking. It's not something girls in the last century were taught. Now we are.
Well, and I don't think that in general people have been taught how to network. I think they've watched it.
So
They've
men
been
did that. Women
everything we learn basically by default from watching someone else, from watching our parents, right? Generally. So, but now that we're aware of this, so there is the good old boys club, right? And there's, so we could use that for an example. Some people do business.
Numbers are showing women are actually better.
Hi.
Better because it is about building relationships, and we're better. Women in general
Well,
are better at building long.
For example, I also teach real estate agents how to make money in real estate. And I will tell realtors all day long, listen, in a lot of professions, the men make more money. Is that true or not? It's just the way that life is. And real estate is one of the few professions where women have an unfair advantage. When I go door knocking,
We're better at building relationships.
well, first of all, when I go door knocking, people will invite me in.
Right.
There's nothing intimidating about me. I mean, yeah, once they get to know me, I'm a little intimidating sometimes. But overall, if there's a 6.5 foot tall man standing there as opposed to, hey, you know, a lot less intimidating, and women are more intuitive and are able to build relationship and rapport easier than the average man. So we have a good first impression. We're not intimidating, and then once we get in,
More locally than men do, so for real estate, that works better.
absolutely.
But the biggest seller in my company, that's all she talks about is networking.
Well, what I would tell you in real estate is the best way to make money in real estate is to look for the cherries that are easy to pick, which would be the expireds, the for sale by owners, and the sellers that are ready to do business now. But that's another seminar. Let me stick with this. So,
We go on for days here. She can't help it. She has to help. It's
She's
like
convinced that networking.
well, and if you're in business for 25, 30 years, you know, you do, and that's a whole nother conversation. But when we're in blame,
seeds.
the seeds. So the seeds. So some seeds sprout fast. So some people will say, well, if I'm not leaving with seeds, if I'm just busy planting seeds, I got a mortgage to pay today.
Right.
Like I got business I need to do today, right now. Watch the little cord there, please. So, but the thing is,
Time off from work.
but
I have to move.
Then you're gonna be
Leslie,
with us.
get out of the way.
No,
I'm speaking.
Oh, you're in the.
This is Leslie, everyone. She is our helper for today, and she's doing a fabulous job. And she's paying cash for her home. She has no mortgage, so she does very well.
Bravo.
And why do I know that? Because I can build rapport and have a conversation with somebody I've never met before. Thank you, Leslie, for that beautiful introduction to my skills. So, when we're leaving the seeds, there are people who will do business with us right now. Because if we're on the phone and we're a roofer, hey, I'd love to put a new roof on your house. Well, if you don't need a roof, you hang up on me. If a tree had just crashed through 5 minutes earlier and you call, they're all over. Yes, please come over. I need you right now, right? So there are some people that we're going to run into that will do business with us immediately, but they're a lot more likely to do it with us because they liked us, we built rapport, et cetera, as opposed to doing this through the room. Oh, hi, I'm a real estate agent. Would you like to sign a contract? Oh, you won't? Okay. Hey, what about you? You got anybody who wants to buy or sell? I love referrals. Oh, you don't have anybody? Oh, right. But now that I'm talking to someone, it will come up, and there are some people that will do business. I use that for an example. No, I'm not a real estate agent. Please don't put that out there. I am, but that's not what I'm focused on. So, there are some people that will do business. Some people will do business with us within a couple of months. My best example of somebody who will do business after years, 10 years ago I'm out doing, I'm doing an event. I used to do antique car shows, with my antique car shows. I'm out with my flyer. My little flyer says antique car show for the Hooks at Old Home Day event. Proceeds go to the Live and Let Live farm. Give the proceeds away, right? Showing it and going to places. Go to this guy, 7 foot tall, huge, big guy, runs an auto dealership. I walk in with my flyer. He says, "What are you selling?" And I said, "I'm not selling anything. I just have my little flyer, and we're doing a car show, and the proceeds go." And he goes, "Oh, antique cars. I love cars. It's a car place, right?" So, and end up having rapport. He ends up judging at my car shows. He ends up promoting my car shows. He ends up becoming one of my best friends. I've cried on his shoulder over boyfriends, the whole deal. Not only did all these ancillary beautiful things happen because of me out networking and creating my own event, which is a whole nother conversation, but 2.5, 3 years ago, I come back into New Hampshire, pull into his garage. I've got a little Mercedes and his little beater. I said, hey, you know, I'm working on my car. I said, hey, Gary, I'm back in town. I'm selling real estate again. He says, well, you can list this if you want. And I said, list what? He said, my business, I'm ready to retire. I want to get rid of this place. He has a place that is 5 acres, which is big enough for a Walmart, shopping center, 2.4 million listing. This is a guy who you have to earn his respect. You have to earn his trust. You don't walk in there, hey, I'm a real estate agent, would you like to list your property? He'd tell you to beat the street, and you'd be scared to death running when you did with that deep voice that he's got. But because I had met him, planted a seed, 10 years later, $2.4 million listing. So here's the thing. The seeds can happen fast, they can happen in a few months, they can happen in a few years, but there's been so many other beautiful things out of that relationship besides that listing. It's just an example of a seed that grew into literally an oak tree, right, and really paid off in the long run. Would not have happened if I had not planted the seed. So when we're out in fear and scarcity and we're looking for leads, we are also in blame mode. Does anybody here ever hear somebody say, well, I would have gone to that event, but it's summertime, I was too busy. It's too early. It's too early. It's too early in the morning. I can't get up. My kids have to get on the bus. It's too late at night. I would have made good contacts, but it was too hot in there. It was too hot. I didn't like the subject matter. The chairs weren't comfortable enough. Blah, 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 blah. Blame, 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 blame. Blaming other people, right? They're in fear and scarcity. They're in survival. They're in blame. They're not taking responsibility for anything. When we can go from fear and scarcity and move into abundance and prosperity, also when we're in fear and fear and scarcity, we are also in the mindset of what's in it for me. What's in it for me? How can I get a contract signed? Who's going to do something for me today? Sharking through the room, right? When we move into abundance and prosperity, we also move into how can I be of service? How can I be of service to the next person that I talk to? Now we also start taking responsibility. You know what? The best prospect I could have had was at that meeting at 7 o'clock this morning. I didn't go because I was too lazy to get out of bed. Take responsibility for ourselves. You know what? I got a couple of great business cards. I didn't follow up. Shame on me. Take responsibility. When we move from blame, it's her fault, it's his fault, it's too early, it's too late, it's too hot, it's too cold, the snow got in my way. Traffic was bad. I hear it all the time. Guys, I have driven 5 hours to get to a network marketing meeting, 15 minutes early after a 5-hour drive, have local people that live down the road show up 15 minutes late talking about how bad the traffic is. Blame, blame, no responsibility. Let's step into the responsibility. You're late not because of traffic, because you didn't plan properly. Let's just own that, right? So when we step into abundance and prosperity, now we're in the thrive mode. Now we're in contribution. Now we're in giving. Now when we're talking to other people, instead of what's in it for me? Oh, you don't want to sign a contract with me? Well, you're just in the way. Who's the next person? Now we can stop and take a step back and we can say, how can I be of assistance to you? Who are you looking for? I like to play the game of how can I give somebody a referral before they give me one? How can I do something for them before they even consider giving something to me? And we're going to talk, I'll just kind of throw them in here. So here's some tips on networking. One of the biggest tips I can give people for networking is to get there early. Do you know I was here at 4 o'clock today? I'm the speaker and I was here at 4 o'clock. I always have something to do to keep myself busy. I wanted to make sure I got the room down, got my camera set up, got all these different things going on. But the reason why I get to events early are several reasons. Number one, we want to honor people's time. We want to honor people's time. There might be the person in that room that sees you walk in 15 minutes late, and now they won't do business with you because they feel like, well, if that person's late to an event, what are they going to be doing with me as a client or as a customer, right? Right off the bat. Right? Emotionally, subconsciously, the big X on the face. The other thing about showing up early is you meet the movers and shakers. Jen is the promoter. She is the leader. She is the organizer. She is the one who's scouting venues. She is the one that's booking speakers. Do you think I'd rather talk to her than the woman sitting in the corner with her finger in her mouth not knowing what to say to people, right? So when I get to an event early, like I got to your last event early, I got a chance to talk to her about doing a speaking engagement, and here I am today. Just another example. You get there early, you get to talk to the movers and shakers. When you get there early,